He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Greetings, citizens of Gotham, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Returns, the show that keeps on coming back for more, damn it. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And if you're asking why I'm dressed up like one of the other co-hosts of Batman, it's because I am the other co-host of Batman, you moron. I'm Niall McGowan.
Oh my god. I knew it. I suspected this all along. Niall McGowan has been here since minute one.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Of the first movie. for like 200 minutes I've been here.
You've been trying to prank me this whole time, but I saw through your lies. Anyway, we are joined once again. Well, I suppose once again, because she was with us last season. We have a very, very special guest. We have Molly Bailen of Escape from New York Minute.
Hello!
Hello. Hey!
I'm due a rewatch of Escape from New York because I haven't seen it since I was about 15, and Lol, my partner, former guest, she has never seen it.
Oh.
Ever. And I said to her, we'll watch it, but we're not watching the sequel.
Weirdly enough, I've seen the sequel more than I've seen Escape from New York. Yeah, it's just because the sequel is so terrible. It's been a frequent let's put on Escape from LA. It's good fun. The bit where he's surfing down the friggin' road is crazy.
To be fair, that is an amazing scene. Welcome, one and all, to minute 115. The minute starts with a staff reduction, and it ends with a gun in the gut. So we are back here as Max. He kind of reels from the revelation that Catwoman is Selina. Maybe not as much as I would expect him to. He's a little bit shocked.
It's weird, though, too, because it's like his first line is, you're fired. And it's like, of all the political, we don't talk about politics in the show, but we made allusions to who the Penguin and Max Schreck kind of reflect in modern day society. And that person may have had the catchphrase, you're fired, at one time or another. And it's like, oh my god, this movie, it's making it so difficult not to talk about it.
He ripped that off, though, which is the most upsetting thing.
From Vince McMahon, wasn't it, I believe? Yeah.
It's Vince McMahon's catchphase, and we all know that this individual we are talking about was very involved with wrestling. So, because Vince was always, you're fired!
You can believe after all this time, Alan Sugar of The Apprentice in the UK ripped off Vince McMahon.
I want Alan Sugar to open a wrestling company now.
I do actually. You should just go on The Apprentice and just be like, my pitch is a wrestling company. And he's like, I like your caliber, I like your style.
Do Americans get the UK version of The Apprentice? I imagine you don't, because you have no need for it.
Well, we have no need of many things, but
yeah, true. I just don't see what ours would give you.
Another cultural perspective. I don't know that we do have it. I'm one of those people who doesn't have cable, and I have a variety of other streaming devices. So Amazon and Netflix and et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I don't know that we do have it. I'm sure somebody gets it on cable somewhere.
Probably. Is it a BBC show, Niall? Because it might be on BBC America.
Yeah, it's BBC, because it's one of the few reality shows I've actually sat and properly enjoyed over time.
You love it for some reason.
The UK Apprentice has this kind of veneer of it's a proper, it's a serious reality. This is proper, there's funny stuff in it, but this isn't your trashy, usual, the way Big Brother turned. This is a proper, we're dealing with real business here and stuff. Whereas in America, it's like, you'll have, this season has Gary Busey and Meatloaf on the show. Which, to be fair, it's I would love if they did that over here. But
yeah, but if they did it over here, we always have really crap celebrities that nobody cares about from, like D-list actors from soap operas.
It's Danny John Jules and Sinbad from Brookside.
Yeah. People you've not seen on TV in about 20 years, but you're still supposed to know they are. Yeah.
I always love that in those reality shows when they get celebrity contestants in, and then they introduce them one at a time to each other, and you can just tell, like, one of the people's like, I have no idea who that is. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, this is someone had been introduced to Leo Sayer, and they're just like, oh, hey, how's it going? Oh, big fan. Like, what the?
That's what I always love about Celebrity Big Brother. I hate the show, but I will watch the bit where they enter the house because I love seeing the look on all of these so-called celebrities' faces when this new person walks in and they're just like, who the hell is that?
Although, and talking about Leo Sayer, though, we have, because he is famous for impressive big hair. This is incredible. Like, the volume on this mop that Selena Kyle had buried underneath that mask is crazy to me. It's like, oh, that seems like, as a guy who used to have a beflaunted quiff back in the day.
I feel you.
Like, I used to have to do the old, like, oh, had you turn your head upside down and blow dry it from beneath to get the height and stuff. So I know how to tease some hair. And it looks like that. If you were going around a skin-tight vinyl cat suit, I think your hair would be more stuck to your head. I don't know if it would go into this luscious but kind of dirty and dangerous looking sort of befont that Selena has here.
Oh, it's beautiful. You just don't understand the illusion, darling. The reveal. It's all a big bit.
It's amazing. It really is. It is. And, she's kind of a supernatural character. I mean, I would expect some supernatural hair to be under that
right.
that mask.
I'm glad you said
headgear.
I'm glad you said that and used that word, supernatural, right? Because we've been asking all of our guests what they think about this. When Selena becomes Catwoman, the cats are licking her and chewing on her. Do you think the fall killed her and they resurrected her, or they just kind of woke her up?
Oh, I see it as a full-on resurrection.
Yes, thank God. I think that. Niall doesn't think she died, so yes.
Really?
No.
Do tell.
It's just because they make a point of her falling through those canopies, and it's like, well, yeah, but it's because here's the thing, okay? Because I've actually been holding on to this for quite some time to get to this minute, because within this minute we have the whole business of, like, because a lot of people will say, well, of course she's supernatural. He shoots her a bunch of times and she still keeps coming for him. And to me, that's like, well, you can shoot someone. That doesn't mean they're going to die. Like, but I do have a direct quote from the screenwriter Dan Waters on this matter, who says,
what does he know?
But he says, and I quote, "To me, the whole 9 Lives thing was just a piece of dialogue and vague artistic license. It was never something I considered literally. In my script, and even in the movie, Selena Kyle dies at the end. She's completely dead after the electric kiss with Walken." So he is saying, in this scene, there's nothing supernatural going on, and she dies. And that's like...
Oh, yeah, but these upcoming minutes and whatnot, here onwards, you could read them as being, like, legit and not supernatural, when she's getting shot and things like this. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean she's got 9 lives, I think. But I think the cats have brought her back. The 9 lives thing's in her head.
That's to me just like, no, I think this is like, maybe in her head she's like, oh yeah, I've woken up. She feels she was resurrected. And now she's like, I'm a new person. I'm a Catwoman with 9 lives and stuff. But it was just like, you fell through a bunch of canopies and you took a bump when you hit the floor, but you didn't die. And a bunch of cats nibbled you, and that's why you're like, oh, Catwoman. Like, that's the...
Well, yeah, again, I disagree, but I think the movie, what's great about it is that could equally be true. I think you can read it either way, and that makes it exciting to me.
But
yeah, because when I first saw it back in the day, I thought they were giving her CPR.
Well, they kind of are.
Just getting like the cats coming out with like the little things like clear.
Aww.
Cat EMTs. That's kind of sweet. I'm just full of love today.
I would love that if I was dying in the street, if cats came along and saved me.
How wonderful would that be? I mean, I think that would be a worthy tax investment if you can. I mean, you can train. I mean, there's all kinds of service animals. I mean, they have like service pigs and llamas and monkeys and whatever. Why can't you? I mean, well, they're kind of anarchistic, but that's why you can't really train cats. But yeah, if you had some amenable cats who were all about, you know, Greenpeace and save people and whatnot, and yeah, if you could train them to be dispatched and, you know, save lives, and I was saved by a crew of, you know, Himalayan cats, like how amazing would that be?
The most beautiful
so worth it.
experience of your life.
You used to put those little barrels of brandy around dogs' necks for rescue purposes. Was that correct? That there was like, I don't know if it's for medicinal things, like, oh, in case we need brandy for something. Like, someone's been shot and pour brandy on the wound.
Well, you know, the St. Bernard dogs, they have it, don't they? The brandy. It's them that have brandy, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be medicinal, isn't it? But I think really it's just to calm people down as much as possible. Because, you know, you're lost. You're going to be stressing out. You're going to want to drink. You probably shouldn't be having a drink. But, you know, a little sip's fine. You can have one.
No. We're talking briefly off mic about this, but like, I've kind of alluded to the whole show that I have a favorite minute coming up, or a favorite scene at the end of this movie where I think Batman Returns really hits its height, and it's this minute. I think this is probably the best minute of the whole movie, along with the Penguin and the whole, like, you know, yeah, come on with me, you great white dope. Like, I love that bit as well. But it's yeah, pretty much like from this line that Shrek comes out with the, you know, has like, oh, you're fired, and Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed up like Batman? Like. And the fact that Catwoman, again, looking even better now. They got the hair even more styled, glaring at him like, because he is Batman, you moron. Absolutely love it, just because. What way do you guys take this? Is this supposed to be like an insight to how good the fake persona of Bruce Wayne is? That, like, oh, no one would even believe that he was Batman. Even a guy who hates him and would like to see the end of Bruce Wayne would never believe that, oh, this guy is actually Batman. Like, he's just like, oh, there's no possible way. Or do you think that it might be more an indication that Max Schreck is a man who is just so oblivious to everything that he's just like, oh, what the hell? Like, why are you dressed up as Batman?
I'm glad you're asking this question, because I have a similar note where I wanted to ask, you know, do you think this is a genuine question? Because that does tie into what you're asking, because is he saying it to be almost sarcastically, or is he genuinely like, oh, Bruce Wayne, what the?
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't decide, because if he's that surprised, it seems baffling at this point. He's had many run-ins with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I agree. I think that because there's so much rich political subtext in this movie. And because it doesn't make any logical sense that he would just be that daft to not understand that A plus B equals C here, I think that he is just so protected and obstinate and just profoundly, malignantly arrogant that he doesn't get it.
I like that, yeah, because he's too smart for it to be a real question, I think.
That was a really great summary of Max Schreck, though, like malignantly arrogant. That's a great way to sum up that character.
Was that on his Tinder bio?
I'll be online tomorrow. And it did actually remind me as well, though, of a thing I always liked in. There's an episode of the animated series called "The Strange Case of Bruce Wayne." It's the episode where they introduce Dr. Hugo Strange, and he, much like what we'll see in the freaking next movie, he has a mind manipulation device that looks into Bruce Wayne's mind and sees a giant bat, and he's like, oh, what kind of man has bats on the brain? Like, so he figures out that he's Batman, and he goes off to auction off this information to all the supervillains. So he gets in, like, the Penguin, the Joker, Two-Face, I think Poison Ivy's there and stuff. But, like, and they come in and have to, like, bid. They're like, well, whoever's the highest bidder, I'll sell you who Batman is. And then, you know, for various reasons, things balls up on him, and he's kind of cornered by the criminals, and he's just like, oh, you know, just to get out of it, he's just like, I'll tell you, like, Bruce Wayne is Batman. And then Two-Face comes out with, like, Bruce Wayne. Like, that's absurd. I know Bruce Wayne, and if he's Batman, then I'm the King of England. Like, it's just one of these things like, oh, Bruce Wayne, the persona of him, even to his close friends, like Harvey Dent would have been. He's so good at it that the idea that he's Batman to his closest friends is just like, no way. There's not a goddamn chance in hell that
Well, that's
guy
perfect
could be.
then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, that would work in this scene, except that we've continuously pointed out throughout this movie that he's terrible at not showing his cards and been like, by the way, I'm Batman. You know, like,
Yeah. Don't tell anyone.
like ever since that minute in Vicky Vale's apartment way back in the first season where he's just like, I know who you are, to the Joker. And you're like, why are you telling him that? What are you doing, you idiot?
Be quiet.
But yeah, and actually, much like that scene in Vicky Vale's apartment, Bruce Wayne gets shot directly after this as well.
Dun dun dun.
It's good. It's almost like maybe Shrek, if we wanted to give him more credit, he could have said he was deliberately setting up this line. He's like, I'm going to say, why are you dressed up like Batman? She's going to say, because he is Batman, you moron. And then I'm going to pull out this gun and be like, was, and then shoot him in the head. It's just like, oh, it's going to be so awesome. I hope everyone gets that that's what I was doing, and I'm not just an idiot who didn't realize that Bruce Wayne was Batman. But yeah, it pulls out a gun and shoots him. I guess it just grazes him, but like it could be evidence in a couple of seconds time that maybe Max Shrek is just a terrible shot. He never hits anybody. But,
Yeah, obviously he doesn't play a whole lot of first-person shooter games online, because it's always best to go for the head. Or if you've watched, Infinity War, then,
oh, of course.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I don't think John still has not, so it's like, oh.
I know a good few spoilers though, so it wouldn't ruin my life. Don't worry. I don't for Endgame though. I have no spoilers for that.
No. You got 5 hours of movie to watch now. 5.5, I think. So
Yeah.
Get to
That's
it.
what's putting me off. That's the problem.
That's good. It's good. It's not
You
like
got a day's work of...
It's too much. It's too much. Tone it down, guys. Come on, scale it back.
I do also appreciate the fact that that line, the whole "why you dressed up as like Batman" thing, that gave the world a fantastic meme when Ben Affleck was cast as Batman. Because the amount of times I've seen people posting
Yeah.
like, Ben Affleck, why you dress up like Batman?
Oh, no.
And then amusingly, I mean, we've said it before, the movies weren't great, but he turned out to be a pretty good Batman.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. It's like we've come through at the end of the beginning of this season, Ben Affleck was still Batman. And at the end of it, so I was like, no, it's like it feels like a long time ago that he was Batman now. I was like, oh yeah, he's long gone. Like now it could be anybody.
It could be me.
Yeah. It could be.
I mean, there's a reason I'm hosting this show.
We'll never guess.
It turns out it's actually Chris Walken. Like, and me, why am I dressed up like Batman?
Oh my God, I'm Batman. That'd be amazing. I actually forgot to bring up one thing as well in the minute before we advance too far. I do like that Max just like he says he fires Selena straight away, right? Because in a way, it kind of shows that he's still, even after everything she's done, he's not taking her seriously. The fact that he can come out with that in this moment, it's kind of mocking her, I think. It's very belittling and sexist.
Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't quite take it that way. Like, I took it in, he meant that from the heart, as in, like, Max Shrek's world is all business. So it's literally the worst thing he could do to her is fire her. Like, he's just like, oh, you're fired. Like,
well, he already tried the other worst thing, killing her.
It'd have been great, though, if he was just like, Selena Kyle, you're coming in early tomorrow. You're getting a pay cut. It's like, oh, damn it, Max Shrek. Like, you're coming in Christmas morning.
Ah, that would be worse.
No.
I have never worked on Christmas or Boxing Day.
I actually,
and I never will.
Well, because of the nature of my work, I worked about 2 a.m. on Christmas Eve, like into Christmas morning, because it was just one of these things.
Oh,
like,
wow!
Someone sent in something to be proofread, and it's like you didn't have to take it, but I was like, I guess I'm not doing anything else. But like, I guess, yeah, I mean it's money, so I just ended up sitting doing that. But oh yeah, the proofreading thing, again, because we get documents from all over the world, so there's a lot of people who just aren't, and they're not invested in Christmas. Like they're for religious or cultural reasons, we'll just be getting things in Christmas Day, and it's just like it's your choice. You can do them if you want. You don't have to, but if you're not busy and you want to make a little bit of pocket change, you can do them. But
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, I suppose.
yeah, but Bruce Wayne, he's down for the count. And then, they kind of go into a little standoff stance here, Selina and Max. And I do love the fact that like she's like, you killed me, the Penguin killed me, Batman killed me. That's 3 dives down. Like she had to pause to be like, how many is that? It's like,
Let me do the math.
just like really like, oh wait a minute. And she's like, oh, I should have fired you. You can't even count to 3. Goddammit, jeez.
No wonder I've been getting too much sugar in my coffee.
The amount of times I've had to go to the dentist since I hired you, Selina, is crazy.
Well, again, you could read it as, this film, as I brought up before, that she does literally have 9 damn lives. But, I've always assumed this was just, a cute nod to cats and their supposed 9 lives. Like, so in her head, because she's kind of gone a bit crazy, she thinks this is true now. She thinks, again, in my world, I've been resurrected by cats with this weird power, blah, blah, blah. So I must have taken on this ability from them. They've given this gift to me.
Yeah.
But does she really have 9 lives? Or, if you believe something to be true, then it kind of is true. If you truly deep down think that.
The great George Costanza quote of like, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Well, yeah, that's true. Because if you truly believe it, like deep down, like there's no doubt in your mind, then to you it is real.
I mean, we're still in a very vague thing, though, because, like, again, she could be, like, that's the level of her psychosis that she believes, yes, I have 9 lives. Or she could just be keeping the motif going of, like...
Yeah,
like, and then, because we've been going the whole movie, like, oh, so when she fell into the kitty litter, she died? Like, what? and she counts it as a death, but it could be a metaphorical death. Or she should be like, yeah, well... throwing me off a thing. I count that as a personal affront. It's like a little death to me. So it could be she's just going for that. But I would love though if she was just adding in ones like we didn't even see. She's like, you killed me, the Penguin killed me, that guy at the deli killed me, I got run over by an old lady on the way here. Like, she's like, thank God I'm Catwoman. I would have been dead a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know that she necessarily believes it. I think some of that is about the resurrection mythology that she has. But I do believe she's somewhat supernatural. And I think that there's other elements of this. I mean, I think Penguin is to a certain degree too. I mean, he's a monster, quote unquote. More than a villain, he's a monster. So and you guys are right. I mean, Nolly brought up a good point of like, hey, look, just because you get shot, and look at even 50 Cent. 50 Cent got shot a few times, and he's okay. So
that's true. Yeah, that was always part of his mystique, wasn't it?
That'd been great though. Like the day he got shot, like a witness heard, like 1 life left. Maybe I'll save one for next Christmas. He's like, meanwhile, how about a kiss, Santa Claus?
50 Cent is Catwoman.
It's like, not only did Chris Walken maybe killed Natalie Wood, he also shot 50 Cent 9 times.
So, I mean, yeah, I buy it. I mean, I buy that. There's an illusion here that she's under, but the woman also learned gymnastics, kind of like a Neo thing. She got a Matrix download, and now all of a sudden she knows how to do taekwondo and backflips, and she's kicking Batman's ass on a roof. Like, does any of that actually logically make sense if there isn't some sort of like resurrection supernatural? Because like that could be argued that maybe all the kids will get into near-death experiences to get sweet martial arts abilities.
Yes. I mean, I know I've attempted that many times, and it's paid off. I'm a killing machine.
It's just one of those things, too. Like, phrasing it like that, it's like, oh man, if this movie was released today, the amount of like Selena Kyle as a Mary Sue comments you'd see everywhere. It's like, why don't she get these powers? We never saw her train for that, and all this. I'm just saying that because I've seen this week people saying Arya Stark is a Mary Sue. It's like, where did she get all these abilities? It's like, it's been 7 seasons of her freaking training.
Yeah, and you've literally seen her train the whole time.
It's like, that's literally all she has done is get ready for all this stuff. But no, apparently she didn't earn any of that. But anyway, that's the dark section of the internet, unfortunately.
Yeah, and if you're one of those people, screw you.
Yeah.
Basically. Not entertaining you.
No. But,
Bless you guys, seriously.
But like, again, this is the bits though I start to really, really love in this minute though, because like, yeah, she does like, have you got enough in there to finish me off? And he's just like, well, find out. Shoots her twice, and then it's just the her going like 4 or 5, cracking the whip and shouting "still alive" at him. It's like, because now she's turned into like a horror movie character. Like she is the unkillable monster coming for this guy. And it's the whip crack that really gets me, because it's just like the way she's just sort of swinging around her head and then a really intimidating whipping at him, just to really go like, I ain't stopping, I'm coming to get you. And the only thing that sort of ruins it a little bit for me is that Walken's performance is that he's just more sort of bemused by it, rather than, could you not maybe look a little more scared of like, you were bemused at first, but now it's like, holy crap, what, this woman is going to kill me. But he just seems to be kind of like, oh, she's not dead. I'll just shoot her
Another
again.
one will do it.
Yeah. It's the one, I don't want to poo-poo Walken, but it's the one thing that I would fix. It's just like, just make him a little more intimidated. But, because everything, Michelle Pfeiffer is killing it in this. And it's just like, yeah, he's just not quite giving it back the way
Should you
I
fault
would
him, though? Because shouldn't like, say, Tim Burton step in and be like, let's try something else?
Yeah, maybe it was a choice that Tim Burton made. Maybe, again, he was like, oh, Max Schreck he feels he's untouchable. So he's just like, I don't, he doesn't quite realize until it's too late that, like, you should be more frightened of this. But I would have preferred it had it been like he thought he was impenetrable, and it's only as she's approaching him, cracking the whip in his face, where he finally goes like, oh, crap, like, maybe I've gone too far. Maybe I can't get out of this one. But yeah, and then so he does shoot her again, and she steps forward with the 6-7 all good girls go to heaven, which is an old nursery rhyme thing. I actually looked up to see, because I've never heard this in my own childhood, but
I've heard it, I think.
Well, was this one, Molly, when you were out skipping rope as a young lady? Did you ever skip to this one?
I recognize it, yeah.
Oh. So I think I got the full thing here. Is it, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all good girls go to heaven. A penny on the water, 2 pence on the sea, 3 pence on the railway, and out goes she. Which is kind of like a foreshadowing of what's about to happen. Like, out goes she. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm talking about, railway tracks and out on the sea. It's kind of sort of death imagery that are coming in there as well. But maybe that's just me.
But that's really interesting, because you said pence, not cents.
Yeah.
So this is actually a UK phrase then.
Oh, yeah, I imagine so.
Or a rhyme, so that's interesting.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
That's like, so Tim Burton likes his old creepy Victorian English kind of thing, so it doesn't surprise me. Mm-hmm. And actually, interestingly enough, it's in the original Dan Waters draft, she actually says like 6, 7, 8. Who do we appreciate? Like a cheerleader would, which is less creepy to me, because this is like, if you ever seen any of those Nightmare on Elm Street movies, the one creepy thing they know to put in there is like those little girls skipping rope doing the 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you and stuff. It's like that one always gets them. So the fact that they're trying to make her a more intimidating character, so they switch to a creepy nursery rhyme, which is like maybe even going back into her, she's become more primal, so she's just remembering things from childhood and stuff. Whereas
I like that.
If she's doing it like a cheerleader thing, I don't know. It's just like, oh, she's doing like a weird cheerleader.
I don't know. As an English person, I'm pretty damn freaked out by the whole concept of cheerleaders. I mean, We don't understand enthusiasm for anything. We don't do being excited. If you're excited about something, you're like, yeah, it's pretty good.
It's either you get a polite clap or you get like blindingly drunk and go too far into rowdiness about it. Basically, that's the English way, from what I'm.
Yeah. You're not allowed to be, enthused.
Yeah, I think that's why like most, maybe it was probably as an age thing as well, but like most women like our age, I know over here love Bring It On. Because I think maybe it's like the only indication they've got of like this was a thing in America, like cheerleading. Because over here you wouldn't have got it, but they're like, oh my god, look at this, it's amazing.
No, we don't have anything like that really. Have we got anything comparable? I can't think of anyone ever being happy.
Oh no.
It seems like such a kind of waste as well, because at least like cheerleading, according to the Bring It On movies, it requires a lot of choreography. There's a lot of physical, athletic effort in cheerleading and stuff. It's like that should be in secondary schools. It's like this is another version of sports that you're not. It's not technically a sport, but you are exercising. So technically, it's good for you. So you should be doing this and stuff. But
I actually think schools should do that. They focus too much on exercise being sports. And I don't like the competitive aspect. I never did. I got anxiety problems with it. I did. You always. The idea is you must be better than this other person. It's like, I don't like that. That's weird. Why can't you do something like that? Yeah, where you work together, but you're not really trying to defeat someone. Except in Bring It On, where they have a competition.
Yeah.
Yes. And guys, like, I actually worked on one of those movies.
Really? Oh my god.
I did. I worked on Bring It On again.
Hey.
And it was crazy, and it was a nightmare, and it was like one of the worst working experiences I've ever had in my life.
What
Here's
were
me
you
actually being excited for an English person, and then God.
What did you actually? What did you do on it?
I was the assistant to the director.
Really? Oh my god.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I have my education is in film and fine art, and so one of the first professional job I had was actually in London. The second I had was working for Universal for Bring It On Again. So it wasn't the original, it was the sequel to it. But it was being somebody who took gym correspondence, because I could not tolerate gym. Gym was for the same reason that John's saying, is just the competition was just really anxiety provoking, and it was just the whole scene was just like too much for me. And so to work on a movie about cheerleading, and there is an artistry to it in that there's a gymnastics element, and yes, it is cooperative, but also the whole scene is just, they were watching Olympic cheerleading footage to try and choreograph, and the whole thing was like crazy and toxic and insane. But
Oh my god.
so yes, cheerleading is terrible. So
Well, okay,
long
maybe
story
we don't
short,
want it here then.
maybe you need a kinder, gentler. Maybe you guys can improve upon it culturally.
Oh no, we see. I think, from my point of view, we seem to think Americans are kind of more chilled out and happy, right? We tend to be very, very horrible and violent and aggressive people.
I'm just getting over it's a crazy bit of everything's connected with that, because Bring It On Again is the one with Felicia Day, right? That's one of her.
Yes.
And because it's like, oh, Felicia Day is in that. She started, she's a big deal on YouTube, and she did a YouTube creator channel called Geek and Sundry Vlogs. And through that channel, I discovered Bat-Minute guests Kiri Callaghan and Dale Kingsmill and Omar Najam.
Oh.
Omar Najam was on. Omar and Kiri have been on already this year, and the next damn week, spoilers, Dale Kingsmill is going to be back on the show. So we do all that. It's got little tenuous little connections all over the damn place there.
It's like it was deliberate, but it actually wasn't.
Yeah.
We're not that clever.
I do remember seeing at one point. I was listening to an interview with Felicia Day quite recently, and they were like, "Oh, you were on one of the Bring It On movies," and she's like, "Yeah, it was one of the worst working experiences of my life as well." So,
oh my god, that's amazing! Yeah, I never, I knew her, because I worked with her, but I didn't have a whole lot of what is her name? Ann Judson. Ann Judson was the main character, the protagonist in that movie. And so I had more connection with her than I did to Felicia. But I do remember she had this really sweet green bug, like Volkswagen bug.
Oh, that suits her so much.
Yeah, so the early 2000s, she had a sweet vehicle. I had a Ford Tempo at the time, so I was quite jealous that obviously she was doing well enough in whatever acting she was doing to afford a better car than me at the time. But yeah, I never. I mean, I've seen her. You know, obviously she's done pretty well for herself. But it was interesting to be like, oh yeah, I remember when you did that movie, and yeah, she didn't seem very happy at the time. I'm totally giving you like this is like the longest I've ever talked about it because it's been like the whole experience giving me PTSD, which is really funny, but. So I'll move on from it. But yeah, I never really got to hang out with her on set. A lot of all the other people, but not so much her. So I don't know if she was just having a real bad time of it as well. So
I think within that interview, she didn't go too much into it, but she said there was a bit of sleaziness on the set that she felt very uncomfortable with. So, yeah.
God, there really was. Yeah, there was. There's quite a bit of it. She was, spot on with that. It was uncomfortable.
This is weird as well, though, because Liz Whittaker from Mean Girls Minute, I think her original plan was to follow that up with doing Bring It On Minute. And then she said, like, there'll be...
Funny.
I rewatched the movie. I don't think I could talk about it a minute at a time. I don't think there's enough material there. It's like, now it's like, you have access to a woman who was like the assistant to the director on one of the movies, Liz, for God's sake.
The movies least likely to get like the most chat seem to get the most chat. That's the thing. Like Titanic minutes. Like what are you going to talk about? The outfits? They made it work.
Well, even like I was surprised when she said that because I was like, if I looked at Mean Girls, I'd be like, I couldn't talk about that 1 minute at a time. But she did it quite successfully.
No.
So, a lot of these movies is just like Groundhog Day. It's like, how are you going to talk about that a minute at a time? You get Sean German and Dave Powell to do it. That's how you do that. But...
And if they will give you lots and lots of information about things like what roads they're taking, which is something I'd never once considered.
Yes.
So it's interesting. You learn.
Of course, in the final minutes of this, we were talking about which sewer route Batman was taken out of the sewer here.
Oh, yes, we probably should talk about Batman again.
Oh, yes.
Well, yeah, Selena keeps getting up, as we said. Good God almighty. And the strict revised draft words this part slightly strangely. It says, Max pulls the trigger, but he shot his wad.
Ugh.
Yes, because, Max has ran out of bullets. He's shot his wad. Which is... I don't need it worded that way, please.
I mean, if he's trying to go for like a subtextual, like the relationship between Selena and Max is all about patriarchal hierarchies and whatnot, and sexism within the workplace and stuff like that. So to then use him at his lowest to be like he shot his wad and now he's got nothing left. It's like,
yeah, I suppose, yeah.
It's evoking a certain image anyway, but it's like, well, yeah.
Well, I don't know how you'd get that across in the film, though.
Oh, no.
It very much
but it'd be a different film.
Oh, God, yeah. Yes, I think it only really works on the page.
Who was it we had on, I remember describing, though, like, it might have been Kiri Callaghan, actually, who was like, the penguin is basically a giant phallus, because he's just this big... oozing, horrible-looking thing that's just constantly spewing out gunk and stuff. It's like, dude, I don't need that imagery in my head. Christ almighty.
I was describing my own. That's terrible.
So I keep telling you that, John, nothing black should be coming out of there. Like, you really need to go to a doctor.
No.
It's my aesthetic. I'm that goth.
Oh, my God.
This has taken a turn. The only other note I've really got here, to be honest, is just that... oh, wait, no, I've already said this, haven't I? I was going to say Max's gun is a Smith & Wesson Model 66, but of course it is, because he's picked it up from... was it the Fat Clown?
Yeah. Oh, that was...
Yeah. And I mentioned it when the Fat Clown had it. Yeah. So you can say it's a repeat, but if you want it repeating, there you go. It's a Smith & Wesson Model 66.
Yeah. Reference to Batman 66? No.
Oh.
No.
We'll pretend it is, just because that's amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all the notes I got for this minute myself as well. So, Molly, do you have anything else about this minute in particular that you?
Nope.
Ooh, then we will depart once more and head off into the dark, dark night. Molly, would you like to tell our listeners where they can find you and your shows of wonder?
Right now, I am on Escape from New York Minute with Eric Deutsch, who co-hosted Flash Gordon Minute, and Brad Mendenhall, who was the co-host of Flash Gordon, is producing Escape from New York, and it is delightful. They are wonderful. And our podcast is on Growler Media. You can find it at growlermedia.com. On Twitter, we're at NY Minute Pod, and then on Facebook, we're on Brains Library, the Escape from New York Minute Hangout.
Ooh. You know what? I follow the Twitter. I listen. I don't know if I'm in the Facebook group. That's terrible of me. I'll have to double check. I will join the Facebook group, and all of you join the Facebook group because it's wonderful, and all the hosts are great. Molly, obviously, and we've had Eric and Brad on before, haven't we, Niall?
Yeah, but they were on last season. Yeah.
We'll have to try and get them on again at some point.
That's the thing. It's just like so many people having to juggle around as well. But like people we can't get back in for a certain season, we always try to do hiatus episodes with. So we're all over the place. So no, then we had Jarf was on because we couldn't get him from Cosmic Geppetto and stuff earlier. And it's like because he's connected him with those guys. So it's like we have to get him on this season. So we're all over the place with us. But
yeah, check it out, everybody, and send us a message on Twitter at BatMinute, and we're on Facebook at the BatMinute Listeners Cave. Give us a review on iTunes too. That's very lovely. Even if you don't listen on iTunes, right? Rate, review, and subscribe on there. And we will be back on Wednesday for more BatMinute returns.
Next time, Max has chills. They're multiplying, and he's losing control of the situation. 'Cause the power Selena's supplying, it's electrifying! But as a slinky sphinx with a seemingly sempiternal jinx once again refuses to recede into a deceased state, which hair-raising shocks will pack a doozy as Shrek is suckered into a death by Smoochie? Find out Wednesday, same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute!